Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. And it's a hot one today in Germany, where we don't have central air conditioning, so if I look a little disheveled or sweaty or whatever, it's because it's like 90 degrees, and I've got these hot lights, windows closed, fan off, and everything, so I can make this video. And so I'm a little melty, but whatever. I'll make do, you'll make do, we'll make do, we'll get this through. So anyway, it's a good time to talk about the games I've cooled on. Let's get a little cooling in here. And I'm not trying to put down any of these games I'm going to talk about. These are in no particular order or anything. I just pulled out 5 games I've kind of cooled on for one reason or another. Most of the reason being I've just found something I like better that does similar things. These are all games other than one that I still own, still enjoy playing. Just generally I pick out something else instead of these games. So while they used to be games I would pull out all the time, now they've kind of gathered a little bit of dust, but I still get them from time to time and enjoy playing them for the most part. Let's go ahead and get to the first game I've cooled on. It's the game I started playing before I even became a gamer. Really started building my collection. It's a game a lot of people have. I think people have seen everywhere. It's Phase 10. It's a card game where you're basically making runs and what is it? Straights are runs. Straights and pairs, triples, quads. Even I think the last phase requires you to make a set of 5 of the same number. So it's just numbers and colors for a part, and you're just playing around. I think it plays 1 to 5 normally, and going around the table just trying to be the first one to complete each phase and have the least amount of points at the end of the game. You can't advance a phase until you complete the current phase you're on. So it's a little bit of a race, but it's basically a luck of the draw type of card game where you can kind of work things a little bit with wild cards, and having players to your right who aren't paying attention to what you're picking up is kind of the big key to the game. Otherwise, just kind of random luck. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It takes way longer than I feel like it needs to be. So some of the card games I have that I play way more than Phase 10. In fact, I don't remember the last time I even played this. A Fuji Flush I enjoy. It plays real quick. Flux, just for random goofiness. It doesn't play similar at all. The Crew, if I want to get a feel of trick taking and doing things like that. And Cribbage, kind of another easy, fun card game that I just enjoy more. I couldn't think of off the top of my head a game that plays with kind of the run and set collection. At least I don't own any, I don't believe. So if I want to play a straight rummy style game, I think this is the one I own. So somebody point me in the direction of another good rummy style game that doesn't take as long as Phase 10. I'd be happy to check it out. But I'm still happy to play this. People in my family play. It's easy to teach to literally everyone. You can pick it up and carry it around. It's literally a deck of cards. I've got this fancy collector's edition or whatever, but it could just be the size of a deck of cards. It's Phase 10. I've cooled on it, but it's still fun. It's still a good game. All right, the next one I've got here is not the version that I used to own. It's not the version I'm going to talk about, but it's one of the games that replaced the version I'm going to talk about, and that game is Seven Wonders. I replaced it with Seven Wonders Architect. It's just, this case, it's basically similar enough style, but it plays way quicker, way easier to teach, and that was one of my problems with Seven Wonders, is I really enjoyed what it offered. It was my first foray into engine builder, my first foray into card drafting, and I just really enjoyed it, but it was always so hard to teach to new people and how to be aware for people going on the science run, etc. It just got to the point where I found other games that were just easier to teach that did the same thing. So I sold off my Seven Wonders. I picked up Seven Wonders Architects just for the lighter, more family version of the game. I enjoy this one, so this is one of the ones that replaced Seven Wonders. As far as card drafting games I've gotten to replace it, I've got Sushi Go, does the card drafting and getting points from what you end up collecting. How the Cats does card drafting along with some polyomino and managing your hand and drafting what you need versus what other people need. A lot heavier game, kind of Seven Wonders-esque. And then for engine building gizmos, it just plays a lot quicker and does the engine building thing. And of course, Wingspan is, again, card, not drafting, but card collecting and using the engine to make points and get your thing running. And the theme in that one just really is a lot easier. It draws people in. So it just makes the teach easier than Seven Wonders. And that's why I lean way more towards those games, so much so that I just got rid of my base Seven Wonders because I was never pulling it out. So I picked up Architects for when I do get the itch for Seven Wonders, and a lot quicker and easier setup. The next game I cooled on is a game that's relatively new, and I really liked it. I was on fire with it when it came out. It was my first big introduction into roll and writes. I just really enjoy what this has to offer. It's got a lot of variety, a lot of fun in the play. Problem is, when I try to teach it to other people, it's just really complex, and I got to the point where I'm only going to play this by myself. And so that already strikes a blow to it. Not that I'm one who doesn't play solo. I play a lot of solo, but I've got plenty of games to pull off. So occasionally I'll play this one, but I'm never introducing it to anybody. And I found other roll and writes and flip and writes and whatever in writes that I've just kind of drawn to a little bit too. So this is just in a rotation of those style of games that include On Tour, which I don't even own, but I really enjoyed that one, and that one's way easier to teach people. And Welcome to the Moon with its little campaign mode. I believe this one has a campaign mode that I haven't picked up yet, so I am looking forward to it. I'm still playing Rolling Realms. It was my first roll and write that got me into that theme, that style of game, so I appreciate it for that. It's just kind of cooled down as I've played some of the other ones, and this one just kind of, I don't pull it out as often anymore, and I've got quite the variety now that I just reach for. I'll get this one from time to time, but not as often as I did when I first got it. So that's kind of why it's on the cooled list. All right, the next one is I've got a big box with a bunch of expansions and everything in it. It's Champions of Midgard. This is one of my favorite games when I picked it up. I believe my first foray into worker placement, putting people on the board, getting resources, and using those resources to do the things you need to do to get points in the game. And in this game, you're picking up dice and kind of rolling them to see if you get victories. Thankfully, the Valhalla expansion's in here. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't touch this game much at all, because that at least mitigates the bad rolls. Because if you follow me, I am just terrible at random luck, whether it's cards or dice roll. If it's a thing that would hurt me, that's what I'm going to roll or draw. Valhalla, the expansion, takes care of that. I still really enjoy this game. It's still really fun. People enjoy it. It's got a little bit of the mare trash with the Viking fights and stuff. It's got set collection. It's got worker placement. It's got goals. It's got resources. It's got a lot of things in it that I enjoy. I've just kind of not pulled this out as much now that I'm more into the hobby. Like I said, this was one of the first games I had, and I played it all the time, introduced it all the time. And now I've got so many other games in this realm. This one's kind of collecting dust. I pull it out from time to time, especially upon request. People who have played it before enjoy it and will play it from time to time. But I've kind of found other worker placements I've enjoyed and other similar games that don't have the dice randomness, but do kind of dice action. So some of the games I've picked up that do the dice action a little bit better differently, because you're rolling the dice first and then using them as opposed to hoping for the best with your dice, are Troy. I don't know. I'm real bad at pronouncing that word. That's a game where you're rolling your dice, and then you can kind of pick and choose if you get dice from other else, or use the ones that you own, because all the dice are kind of in the city, but there's some you get for free and some you got to pay for. But then you're doing dice actions with those dice. Euphoria, you've got dice worker placement, so that's cool. You're rolling your dice, and then based on their values, you can go out and get different strengths of the things on the board. So those are anti-dice roll, I guess, in my eyes, because you roll the dice and then you use them as opposed to the other way around. Other worker placements I really enjoy are the ones from Garfield Games, Architects of the West Kingdom. Lots of fun. Raiders of the North Sea is really great. I really like that twist on place a worker and then draw a worker and do the action for each. That's really cool. And then, of course, Viticulture is one of my favorite worker placement games, along with Russian Railroads, another worker placement game that I just enjoy a lot more than Champions of Midgard. But this one, still a great game. I still am happy to play it, so I'm not getting rid of this at all. And finally, the last game I'm definitely not getting rid of, just because I've spruced it up so much that it would be ridiculous for me to move on at this point. But I just don't play it as much. It's a big heavy box of Dinosaur Island. I really like the theme of this game, Jurassic Park. It's got a little bit of worker placement, a little bit of resource management, some buying and bidding, and some a little bit of luck of the draw of the bag of the meeples coming out, your visitors in the park. It's hard to categorize what kind of game this is. It's got a lot of stuff. Problem is it's big, it's heavy, it's sprawling, and it is a little bit of a beast to teach. And every time I teach it to someone new, it takes them a while to grasp it, and it takes so long to play and do that. It's hard to get it retabled over and over again with the same group. So I'm constantly teaching it, and people enjoy it, but it's gotten to the point where unless I'm throwing the game, I've gotten pretty handy at just being able to win at almost every time, and so it's not as fun for me to pull out, especially with new crowds. If I could get some old crowds back and we play it more, then it'll be fun. But I still really like it. I like what the game is. I like what the theme is. I bought the big fancy box for it, so it's definitely not going anywhere. But I don't play it as much. It's kind of hidden in a corner, getting dusty, and occasionally I'll think about it and maybe introduce it to somebody. Another reason I don't play this as much is the solo mode is just not good. I don't enjoy it as much either, so this isn't one I'm pulling out to play by myself even. So that's why it's cooled. I've cooled on it. I'm not playing it as much, and what I am playing that kind of does similar things as Ark Nova, or maybe Lost Ruins of Arnak, similar-ish in that there are a lot of different things and different routes to victory and managing things, but I don't think they consider the same style of game. But if I'm looking for a long, sprawling, big, thinky game, I'm pulling those out before Dinosaur Island. So there you have it. 5 games in no particular order that I've cooled on. I still really enjoy playing these games for sure, but I just kind of don't play them as much for the reasons mentioned. If you think there are other games that I might want to check out in line with these, because obviously I like these games, I used to be really high on them, so let me know some other suggestions that are similar style of these games in the comments below, so I should check them out if I haven't already. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and subscribe below if you haven't already. I look forward to you coming back with a future video. And catch me next week when I talk about 5 games that I have warmed on. So the opposite side of the spectrum coming your way here in just a week. I will see you next time. Bye.